Nina. So glad that you guys could join us this evening. Hello, Victoria. I know that even though we just wrapped up our CEO course, many of you still are kind of taking in everything that we've been talking about and sharing over the last 9 or 10 weeks in this course. Hello, Elena. Hello, Lavelle and Shelly. And so as we go through the class tonight, I also want to make sure that you get your questions answered. So as we look at building the foundation for our businesses, as we look at the systems and processes in place to help us become scalable with ease, if as we go through the session tonight, you have questions, and they don't necessarily have to be related to anything that we're talking about tonight, but it's about processes, it's about systems, it's about the fundamentals of business. I want to make sure that we get those answered. So hello, Sword and Carla and Cynthia and Michelle. So we have spent these 10 weeks talking about how to build the foundation for a business that will be sustainable. And overall, we've been looking at the secret weapon of business success. We've been talking about why it matters. Why should we put a foundation in place? Why should we have systems and processes? We also looked at our 4 pillars of business fundamentals and how do you set yourself up for success, as well as our homework assignments and our accountability homework check-ins, the Facebook group. And I know that many of you have made significant progress from where you were when you started the program, whether it was around your manifesto or your brand promise, whether it was around your systems and your front end and your back end. And so I want to make sure that as we move into the other courses in the program, that we're very confident, even if we don't have everything in place, or even if you don't have all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed, that we know and are clear on what our steps need to be to make sure that we get there. So before we jump into tonight's content, let's do a little bit of homework check-in. And we talked a lot in our last class about the number one way to increase revenue. And who remembers what that is? Hint, hint. The answer is on the slide. Follow up. That's right, May and Johnny. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And we talked about how do you do that when you've had old leads that you never followed up on? How do you do that when maybe you've let a negotiation or an opportunity go stale? So let me hear from some of you guys. What have you done when it comes to follow up in the last couple of weeks that have been different for you, or that you really paid attention to incorporating this follow-up process into what you do? How many of you have been doing some follow up? Shelly connected back with some of her old associates in her industry. That is a great way to circle back around. If you have a particular organization that you belong to, or if you have people you used to work with or do business with that you haven't connected with in a long time or within a while, it's a great opportunity to circle back with them and connect again. May, checking voicemail and email daily, being able to stay on top of any calls that come in, any inquiries that come in. Don't let things linger. Don't let days, weeks, sometimes months pass in between the time that someone makes a connection with you and the time that you actually follow up with them. Who else? What else? What other types of follow-ups have you guys been doing around old opportunities, new opportunities, Malik, I've started to contact clients at least once a week and follow up with customers once a month. Yes, getting yourself on a schedule, getting a system around it, knowing every day who you're supposed to follow up with, why you're following up with them, knowing whether this is a prospective customer client follow-up call or email, or whether this is a current customer or client follow-up email, or whether it's a past customer or client follow-up call or email, putting them all in cycle. Nina, it used to be horrible with that following up, and now you're equipped with how you can stay on track with that. Elena, yes, an uncluttered inbox. And if you can give a short answer, give it right away. How many of you have ever gotten an email or you check your email on your phone and you just don't respond right away? It's something that you could respond to and you probably already know the answer, but you just don't. What's up with that? How many of you know that if you just take that moment and just quickly respond, you can respond, delete, respond, move it to a folder, get it out of your inbox? So why do you think we don't respond right away? Why don't you respond right away? Yes, Nina, and you forget. Now you're scrolling back through, 20, 30, 40 emails and you're going, oh, I didn't respond. Carla, plan to do it later. Juanita, time. Rhonda, yes, people get lots of spam emails. That's something else you have to clear through. Yes, having an efficient process in place. And also, Dr. Kevin, making the process, part of that process could be to just respond. Someone's asking if you have a piece of information or if you can do X, Y, and Z. If you already know the answer, it literally can take 30 seconds to respond to many emails. It literally can take just a short period of your time to get that moving out of the way. And so if there are things you have to check on, if you don't know the answer right away, to speak to Dr. Kevin, what process do you have in place? So for some people, they may only check email once or twice a day. And when they check it, they focus on clearing out the inbox. So for example, some people may only check email between 10 and 11 and between 4 and 5. And some people even have autoresponders that speak to that. Thanks for reaching out to me. I'm looking forward to connecting. Please note that I check my emails at certain points during the day, and I will respond to you as quickly as possible, or as soon as possible. So you have control over your schedule. And I know in a day or time that we live in, we feel like our schedules get hijacked. We feel like we have to respond. We feel like we have to stop what we're doing, answer an email, or stop what we're doing, respond to a text. And the truth is, you don't. You don't. Train your customers, train your clients how you want to run your business so that they know they're not being ignored. They know that you are giving good response and good customer service, but just educate them on what that process actually is. Yes, Lachelle, if you're not quite sure of the response, too many other things. And what happens is if you're not careful, you'll have 3 emails that you kind of haven't responded to, and then 7 that you haven't kind of responded to, and then a couple people are now following up, and now it's 10. And so email is one of the biggest time wasters. So being able to devise a strategy for you to manage your email is one of the best time gifts you can give yourself. Yes, Dr. Kevin, if it's about an opportunity or a sale, you can actually lose that. Lavelle met with a comedy club owner about hosting spots at the comedy club. Yes, that's money on the table. Yes, and connecting with old comics that you haven't worked with before to see if you can get together and do some shows. That is a fantastic strategy. So not only are you connecting and following up, you actually say, hey, let's put together a plan here to see how we can all make some money. Excellent follow-up. Yes, Elaine, and knowing that Sunday you don't respond, you don't work, that is key. Setting the expectations. Just because you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner doesn't require you to be available around the clock. It doesn't require you to work all hours of the night, to respond all hours of the night. It's perfectly acceptable to have business hours. It's perfectly acceptable to say, our company is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 9 to 6, whatever it is. Just because you're an entrepreneur, remember, hustle doesn't mean frantic, overwhelmed, 24/7. Frantic means intentional, focused action. And so you have full control over what that looks like for you. And so just be mindful of that. Another part of our homework, we started to look at inbound and outbound marketing. Yes, Nina, you're not alone. Working around the clock, working late at night, early in the morning, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have a plan and a strategy in place where you're not overwhelmed, where you're not feeling frustrated, you're not feeling frazzled. That's the key. And we also touched on our marketing, our inbound and our outbound marketing. And I hope that some of you have begun to take a look at what you currently do around your marketing. And we won't necessarily get into all of that this evening, because this is just kind of an assessment stage for you as we move into our next classes, which focus on marketing and branding. So as you begin to think about what you're currently doing, is it effective? Is it attracting your ideal client? Is it time sensitive? Does it deliver? Is it measurable? So just begin to kind of ask yourself those questions, and we'll go into much more detailed around marketing as we move into our next class. So follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. I cannot stress that enough. And so this business fundamentals course and, the CEO course this quarter has really been about your foundation and helping you become extraordinary. And from now until the day you execute your exit strategy, these are the 4 pillars that will sustain your business. How you run your operations, how you manage your finances, how you utilize your marketing strategy, and how you go after and close sales. When one of these fall apart, the business begins to leak. The business begins to sink. So in the last couple of classes around business fundamentals, we really got into the action piece of making money. And hopefully, as you are building your business, as you are looking at the foundation, you're also at the same time still selling and still making money. You don't want to sacrifice one for the other. Sometimes, and maybe some of you have been guilty of this, you're going to be working on that business plan. You're going to be working on that manifesto, that brand promise. You're going to be bringing your advisory board together. But you do that exclusively, and then you're not selling, and you're not following up, and you're not going after new business. And then sometimes we fall into, I got to get clients. I'm going to go out here and get these customers. I'm going to run this special. I'm going to launch this product. I'm going to have this sale. And it's all marketing and sales, all marketing and sales. And then you look up and you're like, ooh, customer service. Oh my gosh, look at all the emails piling up. Oh my goodness, did we pay those bills? Did the money get transferred? What's happening with the bank account? And so we don't want to put ourselves, yes, Tiffany can relate, Shelley can relate, we don't want to put ourselves in these extreme pendulums, going from side to side. We want to find that sweet spot. And that's why your time management is so important. Maybe there's a time once a month or twice a month that you specifically set aside to review the operations of your business. Maybe there's a time every single month, once or twice a month, where you sit down either with yourself or with your bookkeeper or with your accountant and go over the financials. In the midst of doing your marketing strategy and doing your daily sales activity. And part of that making money process, yes, setting that up, those consistent check-ins with all of those areas. And so, of course, one way we make money is to ask for business, ask for the sale, ask for the money all the time. How many of you have gotten better at asking? How many of you have just started asking? And what type of difference has that made for you? So May, what type of difference has it made for you? Shelley got one new big client. Awesome. Congratulations. Asking for the money all the time. All the time. Yes, Elena, asking more and systematizing how you ask. And we talked about some resources around that, whether you have a system like Pipedrive, whether you use a spreadsheet, but you should be tracking where your potential money is. So at any given time, you should be able to pull up a spreadsheet or go into your software and say, these are my 7 hot prospects right now. And if I close all 7 of these, that is, another $40,000 or $80,000 or $100,000. And if you are retail or if you have storefronts, it's all about what is my number of customers coming in the door. When they come in the door, how do I sell to them? How many people are buying? What's their average sale? Nina started using some local marketing tools to get on filming schedules, hosting more live events, promoting travel clubs, and different stations promoting youth programs. Getting out there, becoming known, knowing that you've got to make connections, you've got to make smart choices about how you spend your time so that it gives you opportunities to ask. And then, of course, we talked about the follow-up and the importance of being able to not let people fall through the cracks. And it's in these 2 things. If you ask, and regardless of the answer, you're either closing the sale or you're moving into a follow-up phase. But when you combine those 2 things, asking and follow-up, you will see a tremendous increase in your close rate, in your bottom line, and in your profits. And so I don't ever want you to lose sight as you go through this program, because we're going to be talking about some really fun things and some strategic things, marketing, sales, PR. But the truth is, in all of that, we need you asking and following up. So I just want to prepare you, because sometimes when we get to doing things that we might like or enjoy, like marketing can be really fun. But if you're marketing and not asking, then you'll remember marketing gets you known, sales gets you paid. And so from now until, if there's no other schedule that you have, you should have a schedule for asking and a strategy for asking and a schedule and a strategy for following up. So just as our CEO class, we talked about, mistakes that CEOs can make. When you are looking at scaling your business, setting your businesses up, there are some reasons why businesses can fail. And we talked about it's not necessarily the best thing to learn from experience. The best thing is to learn from someone else's experience. And so I want to share with you tonight a little bit about why businesses can fail so that you can be on the lookout for some of these things if they start to creep into your business, so that you can become aware, so that you can be proactive and set yourself up to be protected. But the truth is, most businesses fail. Most businesses fail. Aside from the fact that most small business owners or entrepreneurs don't ever make more than $100,000 a year, then you add in the fact that most businesses will fail. And so we want to prepare you. We want to set you up so that you can be aware of some of the things that can happen to your business that could lead you down the path of failure, so that we can help avoid those things. So, number one, why businesses fail is that you become out of touch with what customers really want. Your customers hold the key to your success. Whether you're trying to fix their pain, change their behavior, help them get their dreams, give them something of value, help them excel in the jobs they want to get, whatever it is you provide for people, if you're out of touch with what your customer wants, it will show up in your bottom line. And for some people, especially when I work with coaches and speakers and authors and people who create online products and things like that, you want to be careful that you aren't the only one excited about your book, your coaching program, your product, service, whatever it is. You have to make sure that other people can get excited, so much so that they will give you money for it. And if you fail to do that, you will miss opportunities. So how do you stay in touch with your customers? You should always periodically do surveys. You should be surveying your ideal clients, your market. Like, what are they looking for? What do they need? What are they buying? What are they spending on? Is this something that could serve them? So at a minimum, you should be surveying people. Secondly, you could have focus groups. You know, you can pull 10, 15, 20, how many people who are in your ideal client space, and we'll talk about that in marketing. But you can pull those people and you can interview them. You can ask them questions. You can get feedback about what it is they're looking for. Because there's nothing worse than taking the time and the energy and investing your resources and your money on this grand product or this grand service, and it doesn't sell. And it doesn't sell. And I will tell you, I was at an event, and we were talking about launching products. And so we'll talk a lot more about launching in our marketing and branding class. But the process of launching a product is a huge undertaking. And there were two people who had used the exact same launch strategy. The exact same launch strategy. And both of them, this was their first product, this first service to market. This was the first time either of them was selling this in the marketplace. And one person from their launch did a little over $430,000. The other person did less than $1,000. Now, how is that possible? They had similar price points. They had a great launch strategy, They both had support. They both had access to coaches and feedback. So what was the difference? Well, we asked the person who didn't sell, about $1,000. What happened? It wasn't execution, Rory. It wasn't. She had the systems and the emails and the videos. The difference was she was passionate about the program she was selling, but her market wasn't. And when people tried to tell her, are you sure this is what the market wants? Will market pay for this? She refused to listen. She just said, I know this has been in me. I know I've been wanting to do this for so long. And so she didn't focus her product or service on her client. She focused it on what she wanted to bring to the marketplace. And the marketplace resoundingly said, we're not interested. We're not interested. Exactly. Good leaders are listeners first. That's right, Dr. Kevin, starting for the wrong reason. And so you want to make sure that your product, your service, whatever it is you're offering, that there's an actual market for it. I know sometimes you hear, oh man, no one's doing this. No one's doing this. How many of you have ever heard someone say that? Man, no one's doing this. Sometimes there's a reason. Sometimes people with way more money and resources than you have tried it and realized it won't work. People don't want it. And so it's great to find a hole in the market, but you then want to understand, why is that hole there? Yes, yes, yes. I love that, Dr. Kevin, having that Dr. Harvey money. So listen to your customers beforehand. Take a survey. Do a focus group. It's so easy now. You can do a poll on Facebook. All types of ways that you can get feedback from your market. That's one of the ways that you can avoid one of these reasons why business fails. Don't get out of touch with your clients, your customers, or your market. So another reason businesses fail is that they can't generate profits with proven revenue streams. The math that you have going on in your business simply doesn't work. Businesses fail because they fail to make money. Now, that sounds very logical. I don't think anyone in this class would say, I'm surprised at that. No, it's very obvious. If you don't make money, then your business will go under. But what happens is we don't take the time to make the math work. And sometimes we need outside opinions. That's why advisory board is so important. That's why it's so important, especially if you're passionate about your business. I'm sorry, passion doesn't make money. Passion doesn't make money. Passion doesn't make money. Sales makes money. And so I get that you're passionate, and I get that you want to help people, and I get that you're so committed, but your math better add up. And I think we've talked about this before, but I had a client who had a benchmark of wanting to make $10,000 a month. I think that's a great benchmark. I think it's very doable. And I said, great, tell me what your products and services are. Yes, Jazzy, doing those monthly financials will wake you up for sure. And she had a book. She had a book, and she wanted to make $10,000 a month. Your book is $20. The math doesn't work. It doesn't work. Unless you are a celebrity with access to millions of people on a monthly basis, selling $10,000 worth of $20 books month after month, every single month. That math doesn't work. And so we touched on that earlier in this quarter about your products and your services, and does the money make sense? And that might mean you need to raise your prices. That might mean you need to change what you offer, what your product is, what your service is. Maybe you have lower prices, but that means I have to put a strategy in so that I can create volume for that product or service. But your math has to work. Hey, Jacqueline, and Nina, yes, and be sure, Nina, to also post that in the Facebook group for people who might not be in the class tonight. I'm sure there are people here who can help you out, give you some resources that can help make that process easier for you. And remember, it's not doing financials when you feel like you're making money, right? You're always spending anyway, and you need to track all of that. So make sure your math works. And as we talked about in our CEO course, know when to let go of a product or service that just doesn't work. Whether the market doesn't want it, whether it's just not going to make fiscal sense. One of the best phrases I've learned around being a business owner is that I must be fiscally responsible to my legacy. I must be fiscally responsible to my legacy. So I don't have the luxury of being emotionally attached to products and services. I need to be attached to being fiscally responsible to my business. Lavelle, is it safe to get feedback from family members on products and services? It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. But I find that they will never, they 9 times out of 10, now you got some straight people out there that's just going to always give it to you straight, no chaser. But a lot of times they just want to support you. And so I think you can include them, but I wouldn't only use them. And the truth is, you cannot build an empire off of your friends and family. It's just not possible. So I would include them, but I wouldn't make it the only source of feedback that you get. Dr. Kemp, you had a conversation with somebody about that today. Yes. Exactly, being fiscally responsible. That is what can help you make great decisions around the people you bring on board, around the people you hire, fire, around the products and services that you offer, around what you say yes to, what you say no to. And I've used that to say no to people. I've said, I can appreciate, you wanting to make this deal work. But as I look to be fiscally responsible to my company and my legacy, it just doesn't align with where we're headed right now. So I'm not going to be able to do this deal with you. I'm not going to be able to, whatever you're trying to do. And they can't argue with that. So being fiscally responsible should be more important than being emotionally attached. Yes, and dealing with families can also be a challenge when the emotions become involved as well. So be mindful that your math makes sense and that you're clear on what your must is every month and what your goal is every month. So I learned this years ago. Whenever I have a new product launch or I do an event or anything like that, we always set revenue goals. And so we have a must, we have a goal, and we have a stretch. And so our must is, what do we absolutely have to sell so that we don't lose money, so that we have a certain amount of profit, and that we can keep moving? We will live to see another day. What is that must? You should know what your must is every single month. Like, without fail, this business has to bring in X amount of dollars. Like, we've got to keep the lights on. I've got to meet payroll. I've got to pay myself. I want to put money in reserves. What is that must? You should know that every single month. And you should not rest that month until that must has been achieved. For some of you, that might be, we must make $2,500 a month. For others of you, we must make $25,000 a month. For other companies, we must make $250,000 a month. So you have to decide what your must is, and then you got to create a strategy to meet that number. And then there's the goal. Like, we must make this, but man, if we really strategize and we really got some momentum going, this would be our goal. Like, we must get 2,500. But man, if this whole strategy works, we can really get to 5,000. We can really get to 7,000. And then the stretch is maybe it's 10,000. So you should have these benchmarks and milestones as it relates to your revenue so that you know what your target is every single month. That helps you understand how many follow-ups you have to do, how many sales calls you have to do. Do you need to send out proposals, network? Do you need to do another flyer? Do you need to do a community event? Like, what do you need to put in place to make sure that those financial goals are met? Because that's another reason why businesses fail. So the next reason businesses fail is, my slide won't change. I wonder what that is about. It's skipping a slide. So we'll go to this slide. Operational. You see number 3? You guys see number 3? Oh, okay. I can't see number 3. But number 3 is you. How about that? It's you. You. Why do you think you can be the reason why businesses fail? Why do you think that is? So Shelly says, see, we can skip that one. Yes. Why do you think that is? It is because of you. You won't listen. You won't take advice. You dig your heels in. You refuse to let other people help you. You refuse to let people come in and offer direction. Yes, you get too defensive. You become a know-it-all. You're not willing to change. You're not willing to grow. You don't have an attitude of inclusiveness. You know what's best. Sometimes you're afraid to share. You don't want people coming in. You don't want people knowing too much. You don't want people to really see what's going on in your business. Sometimes that's because you have a level of untrustworthiness that you have towards people. Sometimes it's because you think that someone's out to get you or out to get your business. Jacqueline says that's her. But the truth is, success is not a solo career. It never was, and it never will be. You cannot get to 5 million, 10 million, 100 million. You cannot get there like this, holding everything close to the vest. You've got to let people in. And will you get burned? Sometimes. But if you put things in place, if you do everything you can do to prevent that from happening, then you just move forward and go with it. But you cannot build if you are afraid to take advice, if you're afraid to share information, if you're afraid to let people in on what you're doing. You know, I hear all the time, well, not all the time, but I hear things like, I want to ask for some help, but I don't want to tell people what I'm doing. They might steal my idea. Well, when are you ever going to then do it? Like, there's always a chance for somebody. You got to tell somebody at some point. You have to let people in at some point. And so what I don't want you to do is leave here thinking that if you put all of these fundamentals in place, if you take on the role of CEO, and if you implement all the things that we'll share in marketing and sales and all that other kind of stuff, that you can build your business. You cannot do it all by yourself. It's not possible. Yes, Rhonda, prior experiences can affect business practices. If you have been burned before, if things that maybe you had a partnership before, how many of you have ever had a partner or thought you were going to have a partner and that thing did not work out? And so now you're like, nope. No, I'm going to do this. I don't need you. And I for daggone sure don't need you, right? And so you like, I'm just going to do it on my own. Well, the truth is, you may not need a partner, but you will need to go and find someone else, a group of people to help you on this journey. It will not happen all alone. Even if you look at Steve, the number of people that he has to advise him, to support him, to help him continue to build a media empire. Yes, Jacqueline, put better systems in place. That's the best thing you can do. And delegate. And yes, believe in your circle, getting those people around you that will lift you higher. Like-minded people who are success-minded, people who are excited about going somewhere, excited about achieving something, and are success-minded in the sense that they are secure in who they are, so they don't need to steal or take or do any of those things to you because they understand what's going on. Absolutely be mindful of who you delegate to. That they are qualified to take on what it is you are delegating to them. So open up. Don't let you be the reason. Be able to take advice. One of the things that in the coaching industry we talk about is whether someone is coachable or not coachable. Because every person who pays me to coach them, they're not necessarily coachable. And when I figure that out, I think it's best to just end the relationship. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to pull you. I'm not here to make you, come on. I'm here to coach you. I'm here to be the support and accountability and the strategic partner you need to take action. And so as a CEO, be coachable. I have seen major businesses who have leaders that are not coachable. And it's fascinating to me because they make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And their business doesn't grow as fast as it can grow. The profits don't rise as fast as they can rise. And so always be open to listening, to hearing, and not letting you be the reason why your business fails. And then the next reason businesses fail is operational mediocrity. So in your mind, you're the bomb. In your mind, oh, my customers love me. Oh, my clients love me. You think you're giving a great customer experience, but you're not. And you don't put anything in place to know whether you are delivering excellent service or whether you're a mediocre customer experience. So we talked about the fulfillment process. We talked about putting in place customer experience. This takes it one step further. Once you have it in place and people are experiencing it, they are your customers, they are your clients, then you have to go back to them and ask them, how was your experience? How did it feel when you became a client of ours? Did you ever feel neglected? Did you ever feel like we weren't paying attention to you? Did you ever feel unheard? When you walked in the door, did you feel that you were greeted? When you had to make a return, was it seamless? It's not just enough to put in place what you think is a great customer service experience. You have to go back and verify and confirm that it's a great customer experience. And the other side of that is that when a customer tells you you have failed, don't make excuses. Don't try to justify. Just simply acknowledge, you know what? I think you may be onto something here, customer. We definitely could have handled that better. We definitely could have handled it differently. And I want to let you know that moving forward, if someone comes to us with this same situation or circumstance, they will be treated differently than how we treated you. Yes, exactly, Rory. Sending them a survey, asking them to give feedback, leave comments. And we touched on this in the CEO course, but being willing to acknowledge quickly. I read a study, and it was about malpractices when doctors would get sued. And the study found that, I'm sorry, I can't remember the number, but it was a large percentage. I think it was over 50% of plaintiffs, the patients that were suing, acknowledged that if the doctor had simply said, I'm sorry, I messed up. We operated on the wrong knee. I didn't clamp that vein tight enough. I didn't, put you in the right follow-up. I apologize. They said they would not have sued. They would not have sued. When I worked in HR, one of the ways that we prevented lawsuits was we would have the manager empathize. And it doesn't even mean that you have to talk about right and wrong. It's a level of empathy that's given. I can understand your point of view. I can see why you would feel this way. I can understand that your experience has not been the best for you. And even, Nina, even if they're not right? Because what we don't want to do is get into the right and wrong. That's the beauty of this. I can see how this experience hasn't been the best for you. Let me tell you how we can remedy that. Let me share with you what we're willing to do. That goes such a long way. So on the one hand, as a business owner, you don't want to feel like you always have to give in, right? Who wants to do that? Who wants to be the one that always has to go, all right, I'll give you a refund. All right, we'll give you what you want. That doesn't feel good for you if you know that there is a better way to handle it, or if there's a different view to their experience. And so, yes, Tiffany, it's about making people feel heard. And it's always about being able to remedy the situation versus deciding who's right and who's wrong. Absolutely. Empathy does not mean agreement. Empathy is a way to show the customer that you're listening, that you hear them. And even if you can't give them what they want, at least let them know that you didn't brush them off, that you didn't say, that's what our policy says, or that's the way it is, but that you heard them. That goes a long way. And train your team and your staff to be the same, because they are a representation of your company. And so if you have a customer service team, if you have people who respond to the emails or voicemails, make sure that they know what your culture is. Some people call it your fingerprint. Our fingerprint with customer service is to let them know that they are heard, to express empathy, to look at the situation from their perspective, and then explain to them why we're making the decision we're making, what we can do and what we can't do. Exactly. It's not about, this is our policy, blah, 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 blah. So make sure that you're operating in excellence, because without customers, without clients, guess what happens to your business? Right. It fails. It fails. And then finally, when we talk about why businesses fail, it's because some business owners just try to wing it. They just try to wing it. Oh, I can do it. I got this. I'm going to put that together at the last minute, or, I'm going to prepare. We'll be ready. Don't worry. And you just kind of like going day to day, no plan, no real strategy, no systems, no process. You kind of wake up and say, oh yeah, let me respond to the email. Oh yeah, let me call someone. So, I think there's a networking event today. I'm going to go to that. There's no focus. There's no vision. There's no plan. You don't have standards in place, a way of doing things. You don't have everything that goes into being a good business owner and managing your company well. And people can pick up that vibe when you're winging it. You're just like, oh, this is what I do. This is my business. Oh, okay, so what's your strategic strategy for marketing? Oh man, we gotta get some posts up on social media. It's been a while since we posted. Really, that's your strategy? To just jump on and post something? That's not a strategy. Tell me about your business. Look at Nina. Being great at something does not qualify you to run a business. I know lots of great speakers, coaches, seamstresses, stylists, hairstylists, makeup artists, brick and mortar owners, cafe owners, right? They might be good at the practitioner piece, but if they're winging everything else, like, I don't really need a business plan, it'll be all right. I know those financials. But then you look up and you're like, where's the money? Or your account is overdrawn. You don't have money to pay your credit card bill. Like, that's winging it. And you should never want to be in a position where even as a solopreneur, you're winging it, but you definitely don't want to be winging it when you bring on team or part-time employees or interns or staff people. Like, they don't want to see you winging it. They're going to wake up wondering, are we going to have an office to go to? Exactly, Dr. Kevin. Just because you run the corner store doesn't mean you can run Walmart. So stop winging it. Stop winging it. Stop guessing your numbers. Stop rounding up and rounding down. Stop deciding what you're going to spend it on your business based on what's in your bank account. because the balance is this, so that's how much money I must have. Oh, then 2 weeks later, oh man, I forgot I have to pay for this, and so now I don't have the money. Give your customers an experience. Let them know, boom, this is what happens. This is what comes when you come into my store, when you send me an email, when you call us and you want to know about our products and services. This is how we operate. We are efficient. We are effective. We have a way of doing things that meet high standards and give a great experience for our customers and our clients. I know so many people winging it. And you can reach a level of success when you are winging it, but at some point it will implode or you will become burnt out because you're always going to be chasing, always going to be trying to play catch up, always going to be trying to stay one step ahead of what's coming next. And so I don't want you to be a winger. I don't want you to be a winger. So, this is our last class in our business fundamentals. Business fundamentals course. And I would love to hear from you guys just in general. We're wrapping up the first quarter. The retreat dates are October 28th and 29th. 27th and 28th. October 27th and 28th, all day, 8 to 5. Yes, exactly. That great coach quote from Ms. Dr. Maya. People will remember how you make them feel. Yes, Nina, you are and will be a fantastic businesswoman because, first of all, you made decision to do this. Right, it's 27th and 28th, Thursday and Friday. So, Jacqueline, best information, clear and concise. So much better about the business. Great, that's awesome. What other takeaways have you had, just in general? What are some things that have come up for you or that you realized in this first quarter? So Rhonda, you'll get more details about the retreat and how to prepare for it. We'll be sending out emails and communications in the next coming weeks that help set you up for coming to the retreat. Shelly, ask. Don't be a winger. Yes. Darlena, I need a focus group. Yes, making sure you're actually giving what the customer wants. Owning the position as CEO, the 4 pillars. Yes, Tiffany, successful business means creating a system. Belita, knowing the pillars have to line up. Being more organized. I don't think you're alone in that, Jacqueline. Getting organized, being in a position to grow so that when you scale up, not overwhelming. Elena, get out of your own way. Yes, get your juices flowing. America is great. It's already great. You have great people right here in this program that are doing great things that can be a support system for you. Shelly, having that back-end system in place. Dorothy, no excuses. Meaning that customer cycle, the financials, and a plan. Shelly, that brain dump. Yes, decluttering. Yolanda, put a process in place to make the business successful. Malik, can't do it alone. Rosalind, stay coachable. That is absolutely one of the best positions you can put yourself in, is that to receive advice, analyze it, and then decide if you want to use it or not. Just because you get it doesn't mean you have to use it, but be open to it, see if it works for you, use it if it does, throw it away if it doesn't. Yes, May, need help, and you've got help right here in this community. Jazzy, the business plan and the financials. Yes, as funny as Steve is, and he's a great storyteller and a great CEO, but you know, he wants to see some spreadsheets. He wants to see some financials. He wants all four of those pillars to be strong in his companies. So yes, those are definitely important. Lavelle pillars, follow up, the brand promise, the manifesto. Yeah, there's nothing we can leave out. It is must, and it is critical. Yes, defining your revenue. Man, make that money. I have to tell you, I own another company, or a silent ghost owner in another company that is going to be launching soon. And we were on a call with some of our team, and someone asked, hey, there are other opportunities to make money in this business. Have you thought about that? And I said, absolutely, I've thought about all the different ways to make money. But what we're going to do first is have one revenue stream and make money that way. Make sure that revenue produces consistently every single month. And then we'll add another revenue stream. So don't be afraid. You know, Tamika talks about defining your revenue. Don't feel compelled to have all these, I make money this way and this way and this way. It's okay to have one really good, strong, predictable, consistent revenue stream. Like, I know every single month I'm going to make X amount of dollars from this. Now that I've got that laid out, I can go work on the next revenue stream. Good, Rory, you had the question. Okay. Your job description, knowing what you're supposed to be doing and what team is supposed to be doing as you bring them on. So there's no homework. This class is officially about to wrap. And I am so excited for the next phase of the program, your next two classes. I am teaching one of those classes, and you'll have a different teacher for your other class. I'm teaching the marketing class. And ask Jazz if you get a little bit of breathing room, catch up on some of your replays, catch up on some of the homework. Really take some time to look at what you have in place and the things that you have in place, set some priorities, and then we're going to be ready to roll with our next set of courses. So in the meantime, keep us abreast of what you're up to in the Facebook group. It does not matter when you do the homework, right? Still post it. So if you're just looking at class number 3 and you're just doing the homework from class number 3, by all means, post it, share it. It doesn't have to be, oh man, we're already past that. We're still here to help you, to answer your questions, to give you feedback. So definitely get into that Facebook group and share what you're working on and what's going on. Yes, we have a 2-week break, and then we start back up again. So be on the lookout for email updates around the retreat. You'll also get reminders, of course, when the next class starts. And I will see you guys. Oh no, Jazzy, it's not going to be live. There's no live streaming or anything like that. It's very, I never say this word right, experiential. We'll be doing real work. We'll be working in groups. We'll have exercises. We'll have all kinds of stuff going on inside of the retreat. So thank you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you in our next class, and enjoy the little bit of break that we have. And we'll be together again in just a couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much. Good night.